Good day, commuters, and welcome to another episode. This ride is brought to you in part by Aerostitch. They support MC Commute, so if you're in the market for apparel or accessories to make your commute or ride safer and more fun, check out aerostitch.com. On today's ride, we are ready for the urban jungle. We are ready for the very small adventure of getting to the office. It's Kawasaki's Versys-X 300. It's a pretty cool new little bike, and we're going to talk all about it as we ride to the office, which should happen any time now. Someone just needs to cut.
Alrighty, team, here we go. Versys-X 300. ABS, you'll notice. That is a $300 option, I believe. We'll talk about pricing in a minute here. You got your 19-inch front wheel, as opposed to the 17 in the back, and Versys 650, for example, 17-inch front wheels, 17-inch wheels in general. Yeah, that's about it, right? This nice metal flake green, which I think is pretty cool. You can get it in gray also. All right, let's do it. Alrighty, so basics of the Versys-X 300. You got 296cc parallel twin with a standard firing order. And what else? So the chassis is basically a Ninja 300 chassis, kind of. It has longer suspension, slightly longer suspension. It has that bigger front wheel that we talked about before, 19-inch front wheel. Obviously has all this different bodywork, different handlebar. It obviously looks much different than a Ninja 300, even though it shares a lot of the same bones. And when you ride it, the engine character and that kind of thing definitely feels like a Ninja 300. Not surprising. Same power plant and such. And with the same power plant as the Ninja, you get the same amount of horsepower. This one dynoed 33.8 or something like that. It's 34 horsepower at the rear wheel. Not going to impress your friends with the Panigale, that's for sure, but it gets you down the road, as we will see. And yeah, it's a easy engine to use. Power's linear. This is one thing I forgot about. This the clutch on this bike is so light. It's so light. It's like a little hard to get used to at first because it's so easy to pull in, and you have to like learn where the feel is. There's just like not a lot of resistance. Obviously that's a plus for new riders, I don't know, people in general, I guess, but boy is it light. Woo. This is a complicated traffic situation here. Also, it's geared really low. We're going to talk about that too. Here we go, first gear. 8,000 RPM in first gear is 21 miles an hour. And we're off. This person ahead of us in the Boxster here is, I think Jerry Seinfeld calls that an eventual left. That was a bit he had. So they're going to turn left at some point. We just don't know when. Nope, not right there. That's okay. Nope, not right there either. That's okay though. We'll come back to it. Ergonomics on the Versys-X 300 are one of the real strong suits, in my opinion. It's very comfortable. It's just a nice relaxed position. It's what you'd expect from an adventure bike. I mean, they're all, for the most part, very comfortable, relaxed, upright, easy to, hey, turned off the blinker. They didn't want to turn there, so they decided it was time to stay on the straight and narrow. Fair enough. Anyway, the ergonomics, yeah, very comfortable, nice rise in the handlebar, and wind protection is pretty good too, even for someone as tall like myself, which we'll talk about more later. The seat height is about 32 inches, I think, so it's a bit of a compromise, right? Because the Versys 300 is obviously a you know, beginner-ish bike. It's small. So they want to have a low seat height, but also it's adventure-ish, right? So you don't want to have it be too slammed or too low. Yeah, for someone my height, 6 feet, a little over, you will have absolutely no problem handling it. And I think even for shorter riders, it's going to be a really Nice compromise of ergonomics and ease of use around town for sure. Red light is where we talk about brakes, right? Yep. Brakes. You got one caliper up there. It's a Nissan caliper. One rotor. It is sort of like the Ninja 300's engine. I think it complements the Ninja 300 engine quite well in that it's not going to melt your face with stopping power, that front brake, but it does the trick. It's a little spongy when you really pull on it, but this bike has ABS, so you know, pull away. To back the engine real quick, this bike does do one thing that I really like, which is that it loves to rev, and that's good in a little engine because you're going to end up revving it because that's what you need to do to get power out of it. And this is similar to the Ninja 300 engine in that you just spin it up and it loves to keep revving. Here we go. 10 grand, 11 grand, 12 grand. I mean, it's kind of fun. It's like it's almost like it encourages you to rev it, you know? It wants to do that because it knows that's where it has to live. It's not like some small bikes where you rev it and it feels like it's gonna come apart, or it just doesn't seem happy. I like it. It's still got that playful character, which is really good. Let's just experiment with first gear just for a second here. So we're gonna go down to idle in first gear. Here we go, first gear. The Speedo's reading 0. That's not right. It's probably like 3 miles an hour, but gives you an idea of how low the bike is geared. Pretty low. It also does the nifty Kawasaki trick where you can't put it in second gear from a stoplight. Like right now I'm stopped, clutch in, lifting up on the shifter, nothing. You gotta go down to first. Some sort of safety measure, I guess, but I've never really seen necessary to me. Crap! Going by the airport and it smells like jet fuel. I don't like that smell. Makes me queasy. Very dangerous situation right there. You see that dangerous situations left and right here. Trucks changing lanes. But that situation back there, did you notice that? There was a truck that was slowing down to turn right, blocking the right lane, and someone was pulling out of the same intersection. So that person cannot see left, and that's exactly how motorcyclists get planked. Because people can't see and they pull out. And it's not good. Something to keep in mind. You see people turning like that, always look for people coming out the other side of the vehicle. You may have noticed earlier on that I got luggage back there. That's Kawasaki luggage. It's like a little bit chintzy if I'm honest, but it's like 400 and something bucks, I think, as an option from Kawasaki, which is pretty darn good. I mean, yeah, aftermarket luggage or accessory luggage from a manufacturer is usually way more than that. Okay, onto the freeway, little Versys 300. Brap! 12.5, brap! So now here we are at 75 miles an hour on the freeway in 6th gear, and it's 9,000 RPM. 9,000 RPM is, you know, that's not nothing. The bike revs to like 12.8, just about 13, so that's pulling some pretty serious revs on the freeway. One nice thing is that you end up with decent roll-on in 6th gear. Just slow down for that truck, and now get back up to speed. It's pretty easy. Which, I mean, that's really nothing to sneeze at in this category. Can we agree? This is not a very big motorcycle. It's not a very powerful engine. And yet, cruise along 75 miles an hour or more, keep up with traffic here in California. That's pretty good. And it's not like I'm pegged wide open either. The wind protection's good for me, but for shorter riders I bet it'd be even better. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear this, but the wind's kind of hitting me right in the kisser. So if I scoot down, it gets quite a bit quieter. instead of being up in the wind. In any case, the wind protection is quite good, even at 6'2". I find the wind is off my chest and off my shoulders for the most part. It's real comfy, which is nice. I would just gear it up a little bit. Did I mention that? Yeah, not sure if I mentioned that, but that's the thing that I would do. Now that we're stuck in traffic here at 55, 60 miles an hour, it's a good time to reiterate that this is really the happy place for the Versys-X 300. If you have, if you live in a place where, like where I'm from in Vermont, there's lots of 50-mile-an-hour roads where you go 50, 55 miles an hour, 2-lane. That kind of stuff is going to be perfect for the Versys 300. It's going to love that. It'll eat it up all day long. You'll be comfortable. It'll be fun. It handles twisties well. It's a great bike for that. It will go 75, 80 miles an hour on the freeway if you ask it to, but it's not really its happy place. Oh man, off-ramp's all clogged up with a utility truck, so I can't show you how the Versys-X 300 slays corners. I was totally gonna drag my knee right here too. I was gonna like drag my knee, maybe even my elbow, but you know, utility truck, so gotta slow down. Couldn't do it for you guys. Jokes aside, the Versys-X 300 is quite fun on a twisty road. Really handles well, and sort of makes sense because Ninja 300 handles well. Why wouldn't this bike? Now here we are in the suburban jungle. Semi-trucks pulling out of driveways, 5-lane roads, apartment buildings, stoplights. This is commuter territory, is it not? Sometimes on MC Commute, we don't ride bikes that are necessarily commuter bikes. Sometimes we ride sport bikes. Sometimes we ride dirt-ish bikes. I don't know. And the truth is, if you're commuting on any motorcycle, I'm a fan of yours. The Versys-X 300 though, it is you know, billed as a little adventure bike, but commuting, oh boy, wow, will it serve you well as a commuter bike. So I mentioned the ABS before and the pricing. So non-ABS bike I believe is $5,400, and ABS bike that I'm on is $5,700. So yeah, mid-fives for this bike. I mean, pretty good, I think. I really do think it's a good value. I mean, you're getting an awful lot of motorcycle, awful lot of capability for $5,000, $6,000 bucks. It's a good value in my opinion, like I said, and it's also, I like that it's a sign of things to come. I like that there are more bikes behind it, you know. I mean, this wave of small adventure bikes is on the rise, and I think that's awesome because I think it's a really cool category of motorcycle. There's the Honda CRF Rally, you got your Royal Enfield Himalayan, you got your BMW G310 GS, and I think that it's going to be a class of motorcycle that serves people really, really well. Gonna back it in. I kind of cheated. You gotta just dump the clutch and let it do its thing, because you cannot turn off ABS on the ABS model unless you do some finagling, you know, with sensors or fuses or whatever. On the subject of other bikes in the category, it is a lot different than some of them. I mean, the Honda CRF Rally, for example, has approximately double the suspension travel. It's quite soft suspension, I should say, but double, that's a lot. I mean, it's really a dirt bike with maybe sort of some touring capability, whereas this bike is a genuine do-it-all. I mean, you could ride across the country on this bike and be perfectly happy. Let's see, what else didn't we talk about? There's got to be something I missed. Oh, I didn't really talk about the dash, did I? Yep, sorry about that. Sorry about that, team. Sorry. So there you go. Gear position indicator nice and big, as you would sort of expect on a 300 class machine. Speedo nice and large. You get trip meters, you got a range function, clock, and of course this big honkin' tacho. Yeah. It's a simple dash, but it's handsome, works well. Okay, there you have it, team. Your Versys-X 300. There it is in all its glory on a commute. Probably don't need to know what it sounds like. You know what a Ninja 300 sounds like, right? It's not a wildly attractive engine sound, if I'm honest. But as far as the capability of the bike goes, it's real tough to beat. It's a cool little bike. And I hope this video helped you learn a little bit about it. And I think it's going to make a lot of owners pretty happy. I'm going to give 2 thumbs up. The Versys 300. 2 thumbs up. All right. I'm going to go sit at my desk, and I hope to see you guys soon. Okay. See you.